Hey everybody, welcome to the juniperlynx channel. My name's Caroline and today we're going to talk about Making Tax Digital. I'm going to discuss what it means for your business and kind of the things you're looking out for when it actually comes into effect this April. Let's get started. Alright, we are now in my computer and we are going to go over Making Tax Digital for VAT 2019 because it's starting in April. So first things first, what is Making Tax Digital? So HMRC is changing the way tax is reported to a digital format. And this is only for VAT in the beginning, but they will start rolling this out for other taxes, so keep an eye out for that. Businesses will need to start keeping digital records on software, for example. In this case, I'll actually go through what records need to be kept for VAT specifically because it's not an extensive list, it's just a few things. So VAT submissions will be sent to HMRC with compliant third-party software. This is where you either need to get yourself set up where your Excel documentation can submit to HMRC with a bridging software and they can get it through their API and all that stuff, or you get an actual bookkeeping software. There's plenty out there. I'll actually recommend a few for you. And we can no longer use the government gateway to submit VAT returns. So once you're on the Making Tax Digital platform, you can't log into your government gateway account to submit those returns. You actually have to do it through your software. If you're already set up on software and you're already keeping all your records digitally and your software provider gives you the ability to send the VAT returns through them, then fine. Actually, not a lot will change for you, especially if you've got an accountant doing it for you. They should be just able to set it up for you, everything done. You won't even really notice a change. You can still use the government gateway to actually check your submissions. You just can't submit through there anymore. And so yeah, HMRC will be adding more taxes after Making Tax Digital for VAT is successful. And I say this because their estimated time for all of this stuff is going to be 2019, they're bringing out VAT, and then 2020 is their estimate in the other taxes, but we don't know exactly what will come out in 2020, and we're thinking that they're going to base it off of how well the VAT stuff goes. So when do I need to worry about Making Tax Digital? You might have heard the deadline is, or the starting date is the 1st of April 2019, but what does this actually mean? So who's going to get affected by this specifically? If your taxable turnover is over the VAT registration threshold of £85,000, then you will have to do Making Tax Digital from the 1st of April. I'll actually explain this a little bit better in a minute. So Making Tax Digital applies from your first VAT period starting on or after the 1st of April. Businesses will need to start keeping digital records as well. So I would recommend switching to digital record keeping sooner, and I'll actually explain this as well in a minute. So if you have a legitimate reason not to participate in Making Tax Digital, such as your age or religion, then it's best to contact the VAT helpline. However, I will say that they have not officially released any documentation of how they're making these exemptions, so they still might not have anything in place. But you'll have to try calling them and check it out, see what they say. Hopefully they've got some insight by now. Their estimated time for these things for November, but it is currently February, so not many updates on that, to be honest. All right, when do I start Making Tax Digital? As an example, so it applies from your first VAT period starting on or after 1st of April 2019. What this means is that it's not from the 1st of April, you just got to submit all your VAT returns through Making Tax Digital software. No. So let's say your VAT quarter runs, this is an HMRC example. Let's say your VAT quarter runs 1st of March 2019 to the 31st of May 2019. So your actual first Making Tax Digital return will be from the 1st of June 2019. So the ends of August VAT return will be with the new Making Tax Digital rules instead. And this actually gives you a lot of time. So regardless, on the 1st of April, even if your VAT period is April, May, June, you still have 3 months to sort that out. Obviously, it's best not to wait the last second. So what we're actually doing is registering for people for Making Tax Digital a period beforehand. It's currently the VAT pilot, but we're going to do it one period before just to make sure everything's up and running, submissions are working well before the actual official deadline. And I'll actually get into why a little bit later. So you will need to keep digital records and submit Making Tax Digital VAT returns if your turnover dips below the VAT registration threshold. So if you were over 85k when the Making Tax Digital for VAT came out, then you'll need to continue submitting the returns in that fashion, even if you go below the registration threshold. For those actually below the registration threshold, you don't have to start the Making Tax Digital stuff in 2019. What you can do is wait until April 2020 when the official switch happens for the people below the threshold. But of course, there's nothing stopping you from doing this early if you just want to get it set up and over with. For most people, if your records are digitally kept already, there won't be very much change at all. So how do I keep digital records? First, you got to get compliant software. HMRC has an extensive list, but what I recommend is FreeAgent and Xero because they're very user-friendly and you can basically switch everything to digital records with those two. I understand some businesses may need more customizable options and there are software packages that do that. So actually we prefer FreeAgent just because it's got a corporation tax calculation in there and it'll tell you what available dividends are in the company if you've got a limited company. I mean, sole trader, Xero is absolutely fine because you'll be submitting self-assessments anyway. For VAT returns, it'll be plenty for you. So then you need to update your software with your business's name, principal place of business address, the VAT number, and the VAT scheme you're using. So this is actually the requirements set out by HMRC for Making Tax Digital for VAT. You'll also need to keep digital records of supplies made and received. So anything VAT related that is happening, incoming or outgoing from your business, needs to be recorded on digital software. So either software or Excel. I'll get into why I prefer software, but essentially you need to record the time of the supply, so like the tax point, the net value excluding VAT, and the rate of VAT that is on that supply. This stuff is actually really simple to keep track of in software, especially if you are doing it all through business accounts, business bank accounts. You can just upload all of your business account transactions into these softwares and then simply explain the transactions going in and out. Yeah, it'll have the time of supply on there automatically. It'll have the VAT rates on there. So you just select the VAT rate applicable to the expense or the invoice and it'll do it for you. It's really easy. And the final note on the flat rate scheme, you only need to keep digital records of capital expenditure goods. So that's the only time you actually reclaim VAT is when you get a capital purchase over £2,000. Moving on, Making Tax Digital should actually improve accuracy and ease of bookkeeping. Now, I believe this to be true because it automates a lot of your bookkeeping for you, such as if you do many of your transactions through your bank account, if you've got a business account set up dedicated to your company, all of that can be automatically uploaded onto a software. A lot of them have automatic bank feeds and such. So you can start explaining those transactions and saying what they're for, basically explaining to the software how to account for each transaction. FreeAgent, for example, has a feature where you can guess your next transactions that are uploaded based on the previous ones you've done. So if you have a lot of the same type of thing, then FreeAgent can guess them based on those transactions that you've already explained, and it'll make your life way easier. Many software providers actually do give a free trial, so feel free to test them out and see which one works best for you. Obviously, check them with the HMRC list first to make sure that they are actually Making Tax Digital compliant. And you will still need to keep receipts either on paper or scans. Obviously, there's very specific paper copies that you still need to keep if they cannot be kept digitally. But for the most part, you can simply scan or take photos of your receipts for your records. But yeah, keep that in mind. Just because Making Tax Digital is coming out doesn't mean you need to get rid of all of your receipts. No, that's still there. It's just the accounting side of your actual transactions individually. When you're doing VAT returns, they want all of that to be kept on a software or in a spreadsheet with a software that can submit that information to HMRC. At this point, you might as well move all of your transactional day-to-day stuff to digital records, just because the bulk of it's been moved onto your software. Chances are the software you've got can create invoices, so you don't even have to bother making the invoices anymore. You just do it straight from your software, send it out through there, is done. there's a record of it on the software and you don't have to worry about it anymore. For bank transactions, all uploaded straight into your account. You can account for all the incoming funds, all the outgoing funds, yeah. And also your expenses that were not, for example, if you have a petty cash account, you can keep track of all of that. Expenses that were out of pocket, that were meant to be paid by your business, you can keep track of all of those. I mean, honestly, Excel is a waste of time. I'll just put it out there. Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to keep Excel and make it work with the new Making Tax Digital rules, I mean, I get it if you're used to using it and that's like your favorite thing in the world, fine. But for the most part, it will blow your minds how much easier it is to use like a dedicated accounting software, and it'll save you loads of time. Manual entry is just not the way to go with this stuff. I highly recommend that you switch onto a proper bookkeeping software where they literally invested all of their time into making it good and easy to use for you guys. And a lot of accountants will actually provide some form of software as part of their normal service. So our clients actually get access to their very own free agent account. So client has access and we also get to see, and the accountant also gets to see that same free agent account. So we both get to log in there, have a look at what's going on. You get all the permissions to add in your transactions and everything like that. There's nothing restricted apart from the actual submissions of the VAT returns and such, because we want to make sure they're all correct. And yeah, so we'll both get to see your account and see how it's doing, how well your company's doing, all the financial data. You'll actually understand a lot more this way as well. Like, Excel just is getting outdated, to be honest. It does play its role, it plays its part, but it's time to move on, I think. All right, so how do I register for Making Tax Digital? It's really easy, actually. It is a little bit overly complicated for whatever reason to actually find where to do it. So for a lot of people, it might be a bit of a pain in the butt. Otherwise, you have to sign up to Making Tax Digital for your business. So if you're a limited company, sole trader, whatever, if you're over the VAT registration threshold of £85,000, you will have to sign up to it. And normally if you just do sign up to Making Tax Digital in a Google search, you'll find the government website to do that in. Fortunately though, your accountant can actually do this for you. If they've got agent authorization with HMRC, like with VAT and everything, they're all registered. They can link up their agent account and sign your company up or your business up. And that'll save you a lot of hassle. So if you're already keeping digital records on a software, for example, all of our clients are, and we have authorization to act on their behalf with HMRC already, they will actually notice almost no change with the way their VAT returns are done. So keep that in mind when you're doing this stuff. All right, so if you don't have an accountant to do it for you, then you'll have to have a government gateway login and password, which I bet you've already got if you don't have an accountant, because you'll be checking your own taxes and stuff. And you'll need your VAT number. And within 72 hours, HMRC will send a confirmation email to let you know you've been set up for Making Tax Digital. What this means is you can't actually use the government gateway for your VAT returns anymore, so you'll have to go ahead with the Making Tax Digital way to submit VAT returns. And so yeah, the pilot's already started. The official start date is April, but if you sign up now, chances are not a lot's going to change with their systems. So yeah, if you want to just start doing it now and not get penalized for anything going wrong, then it gives you a good chance to test out, make sure everything's working before the official start date. And the final task is to link your software with HMRC to submit the VAT returns. And your software provider normally will provide some kind of guidance with how to do that. And all this means is that the software can communicate with HMRC to submit the VAT returns. It just authorizes them for you. So that's how you register for Making Tax Digital. It's pretty straightforward. Now remember, HMRC will be bringing out Making Tax Digital for other taxes from April 2020 if everything goes well. So don't think this is like gonna go away. VAT registered businesses under the registration threshold will need to comply with Making Tax Digital from April 2020. So again, all the VAT registered people will need to start doing it from April 2020 regardless. Right now, it's just people over the threshold. you'll be the test group. Basically, HMRC cares about the people over the threshold more than the people underneath. So they're going first to make sure the correct taxes are paid. And there's no soft landing on default surcharge or penalties, as you may know them, unless you are using digital links. So what this means is as soon as April 2019 comes around and you have to do Making Tax Digital for VAT and you're using normal software, not Excel spreadsheets or something like that, then there's no soft landing period. They're just going ahead. If you don't submit stuff on time, then you get a mark on your account, basically saying you've done a late VAT return, and they'll keep track of your company for the next 12 months to see for future late VAT returns or payments. If you're using digital links, they are actually giving a 12-month grace period to make sure you can sort everything out and the bridging software is properly submitting your stuff, and yeah, it's more of a hassle this way. But yeah, because of that, and because there's more chances of things going wrong with the digital link stuff, then they're giving this grace period. So what you can do in the meantime, if you're using something like Excel, you can use the copy-paste method, as it's known, to submit your accounting data to HMRC, your VAT returns, basically. Otherwise, if you have a digital link, all you need to know is that it's not being copy-pasted. It's more of the data is being sent with individual packets of information to HMRC through another software, because Excel can't do that itself. So yes, do not ignore Making Tax Digital, because they are just going straight for it with surcharges and penalties if you're not doing them properly. And finally, if you guys have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments below if I missed something out. So if you stayed to the end of this video, hopefully you found it very helpful. Please feel free to leave a comment down below if you did, or if I left something out and you're not sure about it and you want to ask me, feel free to comment down below or contact me on the email address on the screen. Alternatively, you can visit our website at juniperlynx.com, where you'll find all of the information about our service and how we can help you as accountants. So, hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you again in another video.